Yo, what is up, friends? Welcome back to
The Nerd Guys Podcast.
your one-stop shop for all your nerd fandom.
And boy, howdy, are you going to get some nerd fandom today?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this episode, but I'm excited about it.
There's a lot going on in fandom.
That is also true.
So, Jamie wrote some stuff down. I wrote one thing down, but since I know that we're doing multiples, I'm going to find some of my other things that I can talk about. And we can have a nice conversation today.
Yeah. Oh man. Where should we start?
You already know. We should start right here by saying, so, how's everyone doing? Drop a comment down below. Let us know how you're doing. We care.
What's going on? How you doing in your life? Is everything going good? Or are you going back to school? How's it going? I hope it's going all right.
Are you trying to make a name for yourself? Oh yeah, it is back.
Are you trying to make a name for yourself?
It is back to school time right now.
If you're wondering what I've been up to, well, I'm started working, so that's awesome.
I feel like you said that the last 3 times.
Well, just in case some people didn't watch the last episode.
If you didn't, go watch it.
Yeah.
Man, we're getting better with these segues. I like this. I like this a lot.
That's right. Outside of that, though, I've been playing some video games. One of them that I actually just got back into was Pokemon Sleep. Because I found out that you can add friends on Pokemon Sleep. I didn't know that.
I guess Pokemon Sleep is a video game.
It's a phone game.
You're right. Right, it is a phone game. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that doesn't consider phone games video games. But that's just me.
So if you want to see, you want to be friends on Pokemon Sleep together. That's funny. You know, come to the Discord and add me as a friend on Pokemon Sleep. Also, Pokemon Home and Pokemon Go.
I always forget about Pokemon.
It's one of those where you don't think that you can just add friends on it, but you can. It's fun, kind of funny. What about you, my friend?
All right. So, work has been crazy for me recently. It's that time of year again. It's always beginning of the year and end of the year that work gets really crazy for me. So, if you all ever wonder why streams get sporadic toward the end of the year and the beginning of the year, like that's why work becomes a little hectic and I wind up pulling a lot of days or late shifts. But yeah, I'm happy I made myself stream today because I wanted to stream but I wasn't 100% into it, but I'm glad that I did because I wanted to play some Wukong. For those of you who don't know, Black Myth Wukong, and enjoy it. And I did. I played, I came, I saw, and I conquered. We actually beat a boss. So if you wanna see that, check out the YouTube channel. Jamie's modding for me right now. That's hilarious. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I forgot to pin it. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we stream these live on Fridays on Twitch. So if you ever want to be ahead of everyone else right now, you can come to the Twitch and watch either Jamie Shadow 9 or myself at either twitch.tv/Jamie Shadow 9 or twitch.tv/Kitsune. If you want to come. If not, if you enjoy the YouTube, enjoy the YouTube. Usually the episodes that we record put out the following week on YouTube. But aside from work and playing Wukong, I am so hyped about what I'm doing tomorrow. So today is September 6th, 2024. Timestamped it. Tomorrow, September 7th, 2024, I will be going to Beetlejuice 2. And I am so pumped because I have no clue what the story is about. I haven't seen a single trailer, and I've been doing this for movies recently. Like, I've been trying not to watch trailers for movies that I want to see because it makes the experience better. It takes me back to like the early 2000s when unless you were watching TV, you didn't see or hear anything about a movie, and you're just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go see this movie. Oh, they're putting out a Ninja Turtles movie. Oh, that's cool. Like, I used to read the comics. Haven't seen the trailer yet. I think I'm gonna go see this movie. Like, stuff like that. Like, it brings back that sense of a nostalgia from like the early 2000s, 90s, and like, I guess, mid to late 80s, where you could afford to not watch a trailer and then go see the movie, because usually all you have to do is hear tell that some character or some icon or some IP is coming out in cinematic form, and you're just like, oh man, it's time to go to the. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a station. If I had a station wagon, that would be like so 80s. But yeah, sorry for the long-winded explanation. That's what's been up with me. I'm really pumped. Been going to the movies a little bit more, and just ultimately getting out and touching grass, because yeah, going to the gym, feeling healthy, living life. I was
Yeah, getting out and touching grass.
This is something I could share. So I jogged for the first time again week. Jamie and I went to the gym. We were on the treadmill, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to jog. And I tried jogging, and it was pretty good. So I'm one step closer back to running full speed and dusting a whole bunch of other 30-year-olds. Throwing my knees back to 100%. Yeah, I'm coming for y'all. Be right back out on the basketball court. I'm not ready. All right. With all that being said, I guess it is time to start the episode. But before I start the episode, I only have one word to say. Jamie, would you like to know what it is?
What's that?
Well, first off, I would have to say what you always say, and that's go grab a snack. That's like the House of Shadows motto. But
Yeah, yes, very much so.
But the main word would be y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Henshin.
Henshin. All right, friends.
I'm fake fanning right now.
It's time for me to geek. Ah, wow! What a surprise! Jamie geeking out on a stream. Never. That never happens. No. But I actually really enjoyed writing this. I don't really talk Kamen Rider a lot to Kitsune. Like it's enough, but not like to the amount that I want to, because he's not watching it, so it doesn't make sense. Say you're watching a really popular series of things, and you're talking to your best friend, and you want your best friend to watch it, and they have interest in watching it. It's not that they don't want to watch it, but they haven't started yet. It's kind of awkward to be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna say all these things that you don't know and you have no idea what they mean or what it is, and bam, I just that's just not me. I don't do that, or at least I try not to. Um, but I feel like today is a good day for me to, you know, stretch my toku muscles a little bit and gush about Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, but more specifically the current series of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. First, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider, and we're going to talk about a snack-based rider series. Well, as you know, that's our whole shtick, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's our whole deal. um, I absolutely love the fact that exists, and I love that we are in tune with this. And I'm like, and I know it wasn't made specifically for me. That's very, very on the nose, and I love everything about that. Coming in at number 39, Kamen Rider Gavu starts off with a Granute. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm just Granute slash human hybrid named Shoma Inoue. According to some of the videos I've seen, he's also called Shoma Stomach in the credit, and the Granutes are called stomachs. So that's the whole. And they're alien race. The Granutes are also monsters from a different world, and they came to conquer the world in secret for some nefarious purpose. We don't. They don't. It's only like got 1 or 2 episodes out because it came out like September the 1st. So yeah, one episode, I think. Now the reaction to Gavu is quite unique. A lot of just some of the reactions. It seems that this writer has a bit more mystery and build up surrounding its writer and the villains. And I can't say that writer has never done that before, because I'm pretty sure they have, but it hasn't been recently. Um, Rider is just completely different from Bell to Bell and everything like that. Geats was kind of like that, but Geats was more plain straight. You didn't really like start to wonder who Geats was until they started bringing it up. I haven't watched Gut Charge yet, so I can't speak on him yet. But Revice, it was plain and straight who Kamen Rider Re and Vice were. And for me, I love the fact that each one of the Rider series are, I've been saying this more recently when it comes to Kamen Rider, but like it feels innovative. they like each season feels different from the last, and like of course like that's obvious, right? And that's something that writer has always done, but for some reason in this new era it just feels different. Like they're taking they're taking old ideas, making them new, or flipping them on their head, or they're taking standard like traditional stuff that you expect from writer or sentai, as I'll talk about a little later, and flipping them on their head and subverting expectations and just going from a different angle. And I really enjoy that because for a series that's as long as, you know, Rider or Super Sentai or anything that could be, you do have to keep the fans on their toes. At least I feel that way.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like that's to me, that's always been the issue with like I can't speak for the Sentai counterpart because like I haven't watched enough of it, but from what I seen with Sentai, great. Like the fan series that we watched the other day, was
Oh, Rail Riders,
yes, which is a play on
Tokuger.
yes, thank you. I like watching that fan series made me want to actually watch Tokuger because it was different. Now, despite me not liking Megazords, that's a completely different conversation. But I feel like that's what the American Power Rangers does all the time, where it's like, hey, you we want to do something different, but they can't really do anything super different because they're A, they don't have the budget, or B, they're repurposing footage for an Americanized version. And like I'm like, y'all don't have to really reinvent the wheel here, but you could take what they're doing and just translate it to English and do that. Or like they're trying to do, make your own original story and film.
Yeah. And like I never was against Power Rangers becoming more original. I thought that that was something that we needed. But one of the things that one of the aspects that I always wanted us to gain and learn from, you know, overseas is how the storytelling is just so seamless, and it's not as, you know, how do I say it, like handholdy. You don't need to hold the kids' hands to teach them lessons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have
And
to
like
make
even
things
when you do,
painfully
you can
obvious.
follow. Yeah, you follow through with what the lesson of the day is, and it's not a, oh man guys, I learned that through the power of teamwork we can do anything. It's like that's boring. Like, come on, man.
For real. Like I watched
Go ahead.
I watched one of the videos that Jamie was talking about earlier, explaining what Kamen Rider Gavu is, and I wasn't against it. My so here with me and Kamen Rider is like one of those shows that now I'm low key probably going to get into because A, I know it has a manga now and I like manga. You know, win win. B, actually I might go buy that manga tomorrow. B, um I like that it's different from Sentai and Power Rangers. I grew up when in the era of like Dragon Knight, so I did watch Dragon Knight, but because of the weird scheduling and airing of that show, it put me off the series because I was like, bruh, you all aren't consistent. So like I can't get a chance to immerse myself in it. But Power Rangers, I was able to get a chance to immerse myself in the season because each season came out like every year, every 2 years, and like that's what I loved about it. Um, so like from the video, like what brought this topic up with me was I was on TikTok yesterday And I actually saw a transformation that happens in Gavu, or I believe it to be Gavu. And it was the craziest thing. Like, Mans was really able to, and I guess spoiler alert, because I'm not a fan. I don't know if this is a spoiler alert or not, but I want to say spoiler alert if you're a fan of Kamen Rider. But like, Mans literally transformed into a half good, half evil phase one rider, and I was like, bruh. While I am not a fan of your device that makes you transform, because I've never been a fan of any of like the riders' transformation belts, except for like whatever the Sentai version of or Toku version of Dragon Knight was, because it was simple. It was like a card reader. You put the thing in the card reader, and it matched. It wasn't like something big and bulky sitting off of there. That's like completely impractical. But like, seeing that, I was like, this is cool. I'd actually watch this series. So like, I don't know. I might be watching Kamen Rider Gavu. I might. So you hear that, Jamie? I
Yeah,
might. So like, if we do a watch party on like a Saturday or like a Friday at some point, I'll definitely jump in and watch, because like that would be cool. Like if we started doing like more watch parties in the Discord, because like we already do, but like it would be fun
yeah. I was gonna
because
say we are currently doing Deno and Tokyo.
yes, which I was kind of sort of watching Tokuger. It just so happened that I was also watching the. In my head, boys took priority because, bro, that show. I did not believe it was. But sorry, that was my 2 cents, long winded on Kamen Rider Gavu.
No, you're good. Like I said, I'm glad that you you spoke your opinion. You said your piece. I mean, that's how it is. Um,
Now, on top of Kamen Rider, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are some happenings with a new Sentai series. So, Jamie, I know you were talking about that earlier. What what's going on in the Sentai verse?
so for those of you who aren't in the know, uh, Boon Bonjour, the new season of Super Sentai. I think it's like maybe 20 episodes in or so.
Said that like it was light.
I mean, for anyone who watches Sentai knows what I mean by that.
All right, I get it. I get it. MMPR had like what 40 episodes in 3 seasons. But dog, 20
One.
episodes. A lot of episodes.
I mean, it's a lot of episodes, but considering that these series usually go to like 50, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, 50 episodes.
that's encroaching on like beginner anime territory.
Uh, that's why I refer to Super Sentai and Kamen Rider as live action anime. It's very fitting to me. Um, when it comes to Bum Boonger, if you haven't seen the beginning, like I haven't, essentially we start with another female lead, like in Dawn Brothers. Um, and I absolutely loved that because I loved it in Dawn Brothers, coming from Oni sister's perspective. because like she could not she could not catch a break at all.
Yeah, I know. Like that was all right. That was the interesting thing about that scene. Like normally each episode centers around whatever character is the main character. All these episodes centered around one centralized story of one main person.
And like you would see like each one of the rangers have their stories and what happens to them just like in traditional Sentai, but she's the main character. Like she's the one that we focus on the most, she's the one that like we spend the most time with. And what I loved about that is it told it told a story of Super Sentai in a different way that they haven't really done much of. And I love that sort of approach. I think having a like pseudo main character, because like that's what she is. She's not really the main character because um the main character was Toro, the Momo Don Momotara's. And like even in that case where he's the main, she's the like again it's coming from her perspective of like what's going on. That's some stuff that I would love Power Rangers to like dive into is that like I said, the Japanese people are very good writers. You know, being able to have this story about this girl who all she wants to do is, succeed in her life. And then she gets roped into all this stuff because that will make her life better. And it's just amazing. I just love it.
That's why, low key. I'm looking forward to Boom Boonger because it has everything that I like. Super Sentai. It's car based, well, vehicle based, and I think you told me earlier that like they do modifications in racing, which is like the cherry on top.
Yeah. This series definitely. I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, maybe Casino would like it, but then like you looked at it, and it's like, hmm.
Yeah, the funny thing is, so here's the funny thing. I follow a Super Sentai page on my Instagram channel, and it like they actually post things about Boom Boonger all the time. I'm looking it up right now because I don't remember if it's like a Boom Boonger specific page or if it's like just a Sentai page. But I always get hype when they post something because I'm like, bruh, I really, really want to watch that. But then I always forget. And the main reason that I forget is because there are no Sentai streaming services.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, you have Tokusatsu on Twitch, which does play a lot of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Godzilla, a lot of like Japanese stuff. But I don't think they're doing anything current. Like the last thing that's on Tokusatsu is Kamen Rider Geats. Um, I don't think Gachard is up there yet, or the last time I had seen it wasn't up there. But yeah, there's not anything. There's no place where you can just go and watch Super Sentai or Kamen Rider or any of those shows. Just well, especially like when they release or whatever. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, for
A
real. Like,
very an easy place where people can fans like obviously like the easiest the fans that have it the easiest to get are Japanese fans because it comes on TV all the time. But like for international audiences that love these series, especially and it'd be easier to get people into it. I feel because like there's like a couple sites, and I'm not gonna say which ones because we're not doxing
I was about to say, please.
one specifically. I'm not.
My
You
website,
know me. I'm
my
never
website for
really gonna do that.
anime was shut down, and I'm very sour about that because the anime I was
Yeah.
watching does not come on Crunchyroll.
Mm. Yeah. I have a website that I'm using for
It's a legal website, by the way.
watching Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Yes. Um and even though I very much enjoy watching it through this website, and it's good. There are some things I'm like not gonna say those things just in case. But yeah, I I very much would love for them to make a streaming service. Hopefully they think of it. Hopefully that's something they can do.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I feel like an international audience would be here for it.
it makes you wonder, like, do they not do it because of the Power Rangers franchise being like, you know what I mean? Like,
Nah,
sort of like
because
they
Power
can't.
Rangers is a thing. Power Rangers is a thing across many countries.
I mean, I remember we talked about that already, but like, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's like a weird licensing type of thing.
Oh, that's what you mean. Maybe, but I don't see why that would have to do anything, especially considering like we have Ultraman, and Ultraman would be in a part of that whole thing.
Long
Like, but
as long as Netflix doesn't get their hand on the rights, that's all I care.
listen, I'm already in a bind back to Netflix because wrestling is going to be on Netflix.
Oh
So
no!
yeah, that's not
I
really much
thought
I can about that.
I thought the WWE
Like
had
Monday
their
Night
own.
Raw is coming to Netflix.
I thought the WWE had their own
They did.
network.
It was called the Yeah, they did, and then they sold the network to NBC, which is why it's on Peacock.
Okay,
But then they got a better deal through Netflix to bring Raw and all the WWE network stuff to Netflix. However, it's just Raw over here in the state. Anywhere else, um, like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and other WWE programming be on Netflix.
that's why.
Mm.
I mean that.
Something that we can definitely dive more into another episode of the wrestling episode.
Yeah, I was about to say if you're into wrestling, like we did do a wrestling episode. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And like, if you have any comments or anything to say about wrestling, like let us know. Jamie needs come to the Discord. I am unfortunately not a wrestling person.
I mean, definitely made more wrestling friends in my adult life than I ever made as a child. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, definitely come over into the Discord and discuss wrestling. Um, we try to be positive about talking about wrestling too. Just a heads up, because like I know people hear wrestling and go, "Oh my god, did you see that botch?" And I'm like, "Bro, I don't care."
I'm confused.
But yeah,
I have no clue what that meant.
don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you later.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
Speaking a little bit more about. Oh, go ahead.
nah, go ahead.
No, no, no. Say what you're gonna say.
No, I was just gonna say that reading the show notes, does Boom Boonger have a female Red Ranger?
No,
Oh, okay. Oh, I read that as
no.
Bun Red instead of Boom. All right,
So,
that was my only.
okay, yeah, I'll be able to explain. So Mira Shia Futo, I hope I'm saying that right. She is the pseudo main character that we've been talking about, and she's been kidnapped and also being forced into marriage, which is fun. Like you do on a normal Thursday, just casually getting, forced to be married to someone that you don't love. Yeah, it'd be like that. Um, she finds herself also rescued, but also kidnapped again by a handsome man in red, and his name is Taya. He is what is called a high stakes delivery driver, and he was hired by Mira's boyfriend to save her. Now, the groom to be is a part of an evil interplanetary mafia named Great Space Invasion Running Team Hashi. Oh god, I wrote it and don't know how to say it. Hashi Ryan, I think. Ryan. I can't. I butchered that so bad. I know I did.
Looks like
Who
Hashidian.
planned to conquer the earth? Hashidian?
Hashidi
Yeah.
or Yan.
Hashidian. Let's.
Correct us in the
Who
comments
planned
if
to
we said it
conquer
wrong.
Earth? Which you probably did.
Probably.
Taya transforms into Bunred to defend Mira and the Earth, but Mira also joins as Bun Pink to save the Earth. I was also watching a reaction to the first 3 episodes. Uh, Let me see if I can get it. Oh, it was this channel called Toku Cast. They talk about a bunch of like Toku stuff. They were very funny and entertaining. It's two dudes um, that get on and talk about Toku stuff, and they both seem very tickled and pleased by the series, but also like I liked what they were saying because it was both a fair assessment of their opinion, but also enjoyment of the series. And they were talking about King Oger, which is um, the Bug Kingdom based series. And I don't think I've said too much about it on stream, but I love King Oger. King Oger is an example of what Power Rangers could be if they decided to not be so cling so hard to reality. You know what I mean? Like full on, this is a Super Sentai series that has kings and subjects and kingdoms, and there's like you know um politics quotes, not heavy and then a lot of like but like kingdom politics and all that other stuff. So like there's stuff that's real if you want to put it there, but there's also like lots of fantasy, lots of whimsical stuff, and I enjoy that it's very epic as well. It's very epically done, epically told.
Speaking of whimsical and epic, boy howdy, do I have something whimsical and epic that I wanted to talk about. I've been waiting to talk about this. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been streaming Black Myth Wukong. A bunch of people have been streaming this game, and like it is a crazy popular game right now. It was made by a developer called Game Science, which is I want to say a Chinese company, and it's an indie studio who only really release mobile titles. Well, they are in a bit of hot water because for as good as the game is, the company is kind of like not allegedly not the best. And I don't know like if you've been living under a rock, but like apparently the company like it's been alleged that the company is misogynistic. Like they some of the seniors have been quoted saying things like certain things. So like I have one of the posts right here. I was reading it from an IGN article because IGN was the first the first person to talk about it. Just a quote from the IGN article. It says, IGN spoke to several women familiar with gaming culture, as well as the games and technology industry in China, many of whom requested to be anonymous for fear of backlash from fans of Game Science, the developer of Wukong, and the broader games community. Quote, in the eyes of many female players, in brackets, Game Science, has a notably negative reputation. A Chinese game designer was quoted saying, and they were further quoted saying that I admire their dedication and work. I had high expectations for their game until I came across their misogynistic remarks around 2021, which was reported in the news. So, said remarks from 2021 and also 2015 were they were pretty interesting because and this is another segment. I'll make sure Jamie remind me to drop the link in the description below, that way you all can read the full article for yourself, because at this point I'm just taking stuff out of context, and I'm acknowledging that I'm taking stuff out of context, but at the same time apparently these things were said. Like one of the things was quote, mandatory self-pleasure. That's out of context, but that was apparently something that was on a risque, a poster with a risque illustration. Another one read, apparently, don't screw your colleagues. And in the same ad, it said friends with benefits were also implied as an office perk. And apparently a third poster featuring a dumbbell was far more pointed, with the ad stating that, quote, fatties should F off. So I didn't know anything about this before today, but I've been hearing rumblings that this game company, like the company that made Black Myth Wukong, was like a shit company when it came to like their people. Like not so much the female people that work there, but that the higher up males that work there are kind of trash and misogynistic. And I'm not speaking about all of them, but yeah, I don't know. Like Jamie, how you feeling after hearing that? Like what are your thoughts? Because I feel like we have a real R. Kelly situation going on here.
So I watched the video that you found about this, and I it I don't know how to feel about it. Like, um, because like I don't know much about this company. To be fair,
Same.
like I only know so much about like what I was, what you said and what was in these articles and what was in that video. But outside of my ignorance, like just as a person, like if this stuff is happening, that's not cool. You know what I mean? um Everyone deserves love and respect, or at least just respect. You know what I mean? Like male, female, it doesn't matter. And one of the things that I remember from the videos being said, like allegedly said, by the way, is that um female gamers only like girly games or stuff like stuff to that nature. And it made me scratch my head, because I'm like, hold on, I know a lot of girls that like playing like horror games and shooting games and adventure games. Maybe I'm hanging around, uh I don't know, like I feel like I'm hanging around a decent group of female gamers, so I don't know where this comes from. Like, where did they find this? Where was
Yo,
this?
for
I don't know if
real.
they like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just I saw it and I was like, huh? Sometimes, female gamers are more hardcore than male gamers. I've met some of them. Some of them care a lot more about the story. And like, it's not that male gamers don't care about story. Like, let's get that out of our heads now. But like, some of them really do take on the you know persona of the game, and get into the in depths and the nitty gritty. Or some just are really good at games like Call of Duty, or God of War, or um Assassin's Creed. Like, those games are not traditionally, I guess, in this context, traditionally made for female gamers. But there are female gamers that excel at these games, and sometimes maybe better than some male gamers at these games. So I don't know, man.
Bro, that's what I like. All right, so at least I know I wasn't the only one that was crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, bruh, like now I feel conflicted because you know I really like this game, and so many people really like this game, both male and female. But it's like, at what point are we able to separate the art from the artist? Because not everybody that was working on developing this game fell into that camp. From what I read of the IGN article, it seemed like it was only a couple of people, and by a couple of people I mean like a couple of people were quoted saying these things. Um, and the typical atmosphere of the company was like this, and I guess to me it seems like something that could have gone on for so long, just because of how low key they were, and how they weren't a big company. They weren't in the majority of the world's eye, if you know what I mean, because they weren't developing AAA game titles. And like now they're on the world stage, so it's like, well, we understand that there are differences in culture, but bruh, it's 2024. Y'all gotta come on. Y'all gotta do better.
Yeah, um this to me was just kind of interesting, because like you said, I'm pretty sure not everyone in that works for the company may feel like this or is like this. But it was a little interesting to me, especially because like we're in 2024, bro. Like, you know it's kind of funny. We were just talking about Space Channel 5 in the last episode, and how Sega and wanted to capitalize on its female uh
Fan
gamer
base.
demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that that to me shows like the company wanted to have this fan base that they didn't have. You know what I mean? Like that's not a bad thing. And sure, like the person who was making Space Channel 5 didn't know what type of games girls would like, but that's why he went on an ass. And sure, they said puzzle games, but who doesn't love puzzle games? Who doesn't love Tetris? Who doesn't love Bejeweled or Candy Crush? That's a puzzle game, right?
Candy Crush is a puzzle game. But yeah, like,
um,
and that's the whole thing. Like, I feel like another thing, like, and again, this is not me defending them in any way, shape, or form, but just playing devil's advocate. Like, I don't know if some things that they said were mistranslated. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because like one of the things that I have here in one of the quotes that IGN found, um, like in the I believe it was a tweet or the social media post. It says the frame rates of 100,000 heavenly soldiers have dropped so hard that they have caused PTSD. And you know, it seems like the stuff they're saying is wild, but at the same time, I'm like, knowing how languages work and how like some stuff gets lost in translation, or even how there are no words to cover certain words in other languages. So you're just like, oh, let's find the closest word to it. Like I could definitely see it not being as wild, but I don't know. I don't know much about the culture in China because I've never been, but from what I've seen and grown up seeing, you know, kind of conservative. Don't get me wrong. I hope we have fans out in China. Like, let us know because I know y'all know how to party as well. But I know that daily
yeah,
life can get a little conservative. I don't know. Like, again, it's sort of like at what point do you separate the art from the artist? Because company may or may not be trash, but game freaking phenomenal. I like this game so much
I
because I
mean,
go for it.
oh, sorry. I was gonna say it's kind of like Hogwarts Legacy, right? You know, the whole
Oh my
Harry
god,
Potter thing.
yes. I completely, you know,
Yeah.
that's a great comparison because I completely forgot about that. The author of the book, I don't, J.K. Rowling, yeah, J.K. Rowling
Yep.
versus
J.K. Rowling.
versus Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a phenomenal work, but the author
Mm.
said something that was trash. And, they expressed their feeling; they
Mm.
have every right to. But oh, now they're labeled a trash ass person. Kinda is what it is, but they, you know, they put out some good literary work, and I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter books, just FYI, but I do like the movies. I do like the films.
I am.
I've never read
I'm
the
a
book.
big fan of. I, I'm a big fan of the books because I read the books as a kid. Um, anyone remember the Scholastic, book Johns,
Yep, the
the
book
events and
fairs.
stuff? Yeah, I got the experience of renting most of the books through that, and then I read the rest of them afterwards. And I watched the movies, and I'm a fan of both. And I loved the fact that Hogwarts Legacy was coming out because I was like, oh, sweet, a Harry Potter game that will feel like a Harry Potter game.
Yep. And yes, to all
And
my
to me, oh god.
sorry, I was gonna say to all my Harry Potter fans, I didn't forget about you. I am I have to get back to it, but I am working on a series for Hogwarts Legacy. Moving through, like working through it. I have started recording, or actually, I might have to just because weird stuff happened. But I have been playing Hogwarts. Oh, I am a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think it is important for us. You know. I mean, it really depends on you as a person, what you believe in. But like, I always took away from situations like if I enjoy this person's art, it, you know, it's not like it didn't matter that they were a terrible person because like, whatever. But as long as that wasn't my experience, why am I harping on?
Bro, if we cancel everybody that
Um,
was a terrible person and didn't listen to their art, dog, there'd be so many people canceled. Like everybody would be canceled because we've all done something in
listen,
our lives or said something in our lives.
yeah, no one's perfect, and I think it's important for us to remember that. It's important for us to remember that like none of us are perfect. We can't always be like, oh well, blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, what? Like, it's not like that, you know. Um, Chris Benoit, the wrestler. Anyone who's aware of what happened with him and his family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um,
That the dude that
sure,
alived himself
and his family,
and his
yes.
family.
Well, something is his wife and son or daughter, one of those, I forget which one. Um, but everyone remembers that. Everyone remembers the tragedy, right? But they don't remember how he was before that. They don't remember that he was actually a Christian man who was very kind and soft spoken. They don't remember that he was an amazing in ring and he had amazing moves that made people believe in what he did in the ring. No one remembers that. They just remember him being the terrible murderer who murdered people, his family and himself. But they also don't remember that that also could have been caused by him having um concussions because his one of his signature or finisher moves was a diving headbutt, and he was him and maybe a couple other wrestlers were the cause of WWE having concussion protocols.
Like football.
Before, so like before, I would say like before you really stab your daggers into these individuals, maybe they weren't like that originally. I mean, sometimes some people were like that. We don't know. But like separating the art from the artist definitely helps you understand that like what this person was creating is a work of art that should be praised, that should be highlighted for all of it.
Much like video. And speaking of video
Mm-hmm.
games, have you heard about the new Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, man. Oh, I feel like we've been talking about the Nintendo Switch since it came out, and now we're definitely talking about its potential predecessor. Um, and I'm just gonna label it now. This is speculation, okay? There's no hardcore proof, There is no evidence. I was weaving through leaks, so you're welcome. I we're gonna talk about the Switch 2. We're gonna also join into the speculation, and we want to know what your speculation is of the Switch 2. And if you hear some of the things that I've written here, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I saw that too," that is blah 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 blah. No, we don't put words in anyone's mouth. We don't go, "Oh, this is definitive proof or fact," because the only one that could say that is Nintendo. Like, I sorry, I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick. But someone leaking something does not mean that it's true.
Unless they were paid to.
Just because someone leaks, exactly. And even in that case, you should still take that with a grain of salt. Companies have the ability to change things or alter things. It is not set in stone. Because the one thing I don't want people to do is just immediately jump on this and be like, "Oh my god, this person said this and this person said that." It's like they said these things either because they heard them from a reputable source, or they're in the industry and something was said and everyone heard it. It's not a definitive thing until the people themselves come forward and go, "Ah, this is happening."
So I've been hearing.
It's like you're at school. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. So I've been hearing rumblings that the Switch 2 might be able to be pre-ordered as early as next spring, if I'm not mistaken. Because
Good.
no, I was gonna say because like I know that, or not next spring, but like middle of next year, because I think from what I heard they're targeting like a fall of 2025. I don't know. Correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong.
I've
What did your
heard
leak
fall
say?
of 2025. This is something that I haven't I didn't put down here, but I have heard it. I've heard that a release date could be summer of 2025. Um so but what we have here is what I so Nintendo just maybe teasing a glimpse of their new console. What does this mean? Well, company may be following a similar timeline with the OG Switch. And if you're familiar, when it came to the Switch, they kind of do what they always do, where they drop like a kind of like project name. So the Dolphin was the GameCube, and I forget what the Wii was called. Hollywood, something like that. Something like that. I should have wrote it down. I should have looked for it and wrote it down. But they drop a like a name like for the project, and then what they'll do is, as it's coming closer, they'll start making space for the Nintendo, in this case the Nintendo Switch 2, if they're going to call it that, to drop. And Nintendo is a very smart company. They do announcements in the like beginning of the year, so like April, Mayish, Marchish. And then they may do a summer announcement of games to ramp up to the fall season, which is a lot of companies good best season, because they're selling lots of games and consoles around holiday time. And for Nintendo, they can announce something like a Switch 2 for next year, seeing as though they've already kind of said that they wouldn't be doing their next console until next year anyway. And Well, we're here in September already, so
For real, like from what I was hearing, I was hearing a lot of people say that they're expecting Pokemon AZ to be
it
a
switched
launch
to a
game.
release. Yep, that and Metroid Prime 4,
Yeah.
which are two hell of those are two hell of a games to have extra long.
Yep, because I definitely would have a Switch 2 or whatever they decide to call it, Switch Pro, Switch whatever. I'd just be switching it up with both those games. Like, and that's, we all know that the Switch is at the end of its life cycle. So,
Yeah.
like, it's no surprise that they're already talking about a different console. But what always gets me is like the leaks start coming out and then everything starts going left and right, and we're like waiting for Nintendo to say something or waiting for the company to say something, and they just stay silent. And I'm like, bro, come on, y'all gotta give us like,
And well, and that's the thing that I was going to talk about next. Is like, I know you noticed this, but have any of you out there noticed that Nintendo Directs have been very sporadic as of late? Like, we talked about how they kind of do like a beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the, like, and towards the end of the year type of thing for the directs. But like, the last direct wasn't until like June ish, right?
yeah, I think
Hold
around
on,
that
when was the
time frame.
last?
It was like definitely
Yeah,
about a month
around.
or two.
And like, I remember specifically last year they were talking about their next direct would be May 2nd, which makes sense because it's spring. We're right before summer, but we can take all, like, Nintendo sometimes takes a lot of their games that they are about to release like in the coming months, but also in the next season. So like, if they have like a Pokemon game and a Zelda game and some other like indie games or whatever that they want to put on the direct, they'll do that and be like, "Oh, hey, these things are coming out," and it's like, "Oh."
It's
But
like,
this time
what
around,
Discord
like,
got you?
oh, it's like, oh my god. But this time around, Nintendo already had heavy hitters come out already, like before the direct. And then after the direct, they were like, all right, here's more. We're giving you Mario and Luigi back. We're giving you Mario Party Jamboree, which looks good. Um there was some other stuff in there that I can't remember right now that they were like, it's coming out within this year. And then next year you're getting Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends AZ. Oh, and also Zelda, the new Zelda game is coming out this year.
Yeah, where you actually get to play as Zelda.
Yeah, where you get to play as Zelda. Um, so again, this falls in line with a lot of what Nintendo has been. I want to say, like, in the last couple of years, Nintendo has definitely been trying to perfect this um transitioning period, and I'll touch more about that later on. But like, it definitely does seem like they're trying to count their steps and keep pace instead of just sporadically just going ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to wrap up their games that they had, like wrap up the life cycle for the current Switch. That way they um get stuff ready for their next gen console. The only thing that I hope that it's a stronger console. Like I
Yeah.
get I get it's gonna have to be like both um portable and a home console because that's really what they've been kind of like doing. I love that, but I needed to be able to compete a little bit more. Like I don't want the graphics of Scar or the next Pokemon game to be like how Scarlet, Violet, and Sword and Shield. That was it was a big step. Don't get me wrong, but it was also kind of trash compared to like other game consoles. Sony and Microsoft can put out a game on Unreal Engine 5. I'm like, it's 2024, dog. Why can't we have Unreal games or games that are this
Yeah.
powerful? Like, I get the whole price point thing, but like, it would be nice if not Microsoft, Nintendo did pro versions or pro models of their console.
Yeah. So the rumor is that they're going to be using the same processor and chip that's in the PS4, which, by the way, that same processor and chip are more powerful than the ones in the PS5, surprisingly. I also heard things through like stuff thrown around about like 1 terabyte storage and um I'm not sure if there was anything about graphics. I can't remember, but definitely the PS4 thing I've heard like multiple times. Blah, blah, blah. Now it that might also be because Nintendo has been playing their cards very close to their chest, and I understand Nintendo has a lot of leaks. For being a very big company, it does get a lot of people who leak stuff, and I can understand why they would want to be a little bit more hush hush on what their next system will be. Now, this news is definitely hit fever pitch with the head of game industry.biz potentially adding fuel to the flame. Now I'm going to read his words verbatim as soon as there we go. Thank you. So this is from Christopher Dring or Dringe, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong. His tweet was with industry whispers around something switched to related happening this month. I thought I'd remind everyone of the official list of greatest game consoles of all time. Number one, Switch. Number two, everyone else. Now that's a direct quote of his. Now this is not saying he's not saying that it is happening. I just we're not going to put words in his mouth. He said he heard whispers, so this may or may not be happening. Now, someone else who weighed in on this was Mr. Andy Robinson, excuse me, editor in chief of VGC. He wrote, seems a bunch of press have heard this, but I still wouldn't bet my house on it. And he's just being kind of grounded. Like he's heard things. He's heard some of the things that are being said about the Switch 2, but he's not gonna go all out on it, and that's understandable.
I guess for me, the only thing that I'm like for is for Nintendo to just give us something. Like they could give us a tease or something. I'm like, bro, we've been waiting for a while now. It, tease something like what it should look like or whatever. Like I get why they can't, because then if it doesn't look like anything of what the renders look like, then people are like, "Oh my god, I don't like this. This is trash. Nintendo's trash." And then they face a bunch of backlash from it. But I'm like, y'all could give us something. Like this is why like Nintendo's legit, like in my opinion, the Beyonce of the gaming world, because they'll be quiet and dormant working on something for like years and then just pop up one day and be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we released a new game," or "Oh yeah, by the way, we released a new console."
Yeah, I do agree that sometimes Nintendo does um they do often suffer from this problem where you know people are clamoring to know, and like I think this is one of the reasons why leaks get out, right? Because like Nintendo's trying to be so hush hush about it, and there are so many people who are like really curious and they want to know, and so they'll go and ask, and like maybe someone who works at Nintendo might accidentally say something that's not like that might not be completely the truth, but it's there's some truth in it, and so that person will run to a reporter, a leaker or whatever, and then this whole big thing just um but I do think that Nintendo is really trying their best to do this transition, because it does seem like they don't just want to get the consoles into fans' hand. Like I liked what this one of the videos said, where like it seems like they want to have people have this experience with the Switch 2 that's akin to the Switch 1 but better. Like everyone is going to go out and buy it, obviously, but they're going to buy it because it has some quality, some heft, and a Nintendo branded right swing that either you're expecting or it's going to completely like blow you out of the water.
Oh man, that.
Now, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was like I don't know. That to me seems like a good place to stop, only because like we can make a whole episode about this. If y'all like did to know more, like we could definitely do.
Yeah. I'll leave it there with the fact that it does seem like the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with Switch games and everything.
Has to be
So
option.
I kind of don't see why it wouldn't. I honestly don't. One, it's Nintendo, and Nintendo usually does backwards compatibility. But two, the NSO, man. The
Money,
NSO is the perfect reason of why it would have to be backwards compatible.
money would be. But let us know your thoughts. Will you be playing Black Myth Wukong? Will you be watching any Super Sentai or Kamen Rider? Or what's your favorite Toku currently?
Mm. Also, let us know how you feel about the switch to conversation. Again, feel free to speculate. Feel free to speculate. It's awesome that we get to kind of like just throw guesses out here. And yeah.
That is a great place. Stop. Until next time, I've been Kitsune Sai,
And I've been Jamie Shadow 9.
and this has been more reminiscent of our first couple episodes, but we are the Nerd Guys, and we'll catch you later.
Peace.